lot of things. This is breaking. I literally just needed to go live because this is breaking. I have a lot of different topics that I'm going to go through with everyone. We're going to talk about this Chase ATM glitch. We're going to talk about women in general. We have this large number of women that have purchased homes that are like saying the economy is going down and they're all selling their homes. We're going to talk about that, and how you could benefit and some lessons that can be learned from all of that. And we're going to be talking about Kanye West. Yay. I'm going to talk to you about that, but more about the real estate. He has a piece of property in Malibu, California that lost $20 million. And we're going to talk about that and talk about how you actually can make money in real estate, and how you can put properties in your business's name and all those types of things. So I am so excited to be here. This is like lunchtime, and I said I'm just gonna go live. I'm literally here live on YouTube and Twitter Spaces or X or whatever it's called, and LinkedIn. But especially YouTube. I am obviously a big YouTuber, and then I'm also live streaming here on TikTok. So super excited. For those of you that have been following me, know that my mission has always been that I am a multimillionaire, but I started from my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt, bad credit, no money, just the worst situation ever, living in my parents' basement. And I learned how to invest in real estate. I learned how to do like wholesaling, then fixing and flipping the correct way. Now I have rental properties, and I made a ton of money as a real estate entrepreneur, a real estate investor. And so I want to show you guys those same things and let you know what's possible in a real way. You know what I mean? I'm not, yes, I have lots of fancy things, but this is more so about how you really can own real estate. Like, this is not some pie in the sky thing. You can have a successful business. There's tons of business funding. You can get it in your business's name, business credit cards, business lines of credit, business loans. There's lots of money out there for women owned business, minority owned business. There's a lot of money out here, so you can be successful and you can buy real estate, or you can buy inventory for your business, or you can use it to market your business. There's lots that you can do to grow your wealth, so you don't have to rely on working for someone else to make money. You do not have to rely on someone else to make money. That is one thing that I just really, really want to make clear. And everything that I'm always teaching you is all about how you can have your own business, you can be successful, you can make lots of money, you can have kids. I have five, my mom of five, really a mom of seven, five that I gave birth to, and have a really good life, but starting from nothing. You don't have to have a lot of money. There's actually people that will invest in your business. There's banks that will lend to you, even if your business isn't profitable yet. So let's talk about some of those things. So first thing that I want to say though is, if you're wanting to have a successful business, if you're saying to yourself, I don't want to rely on other people for money, having a job, great, I'm able to pay my bills, that's cool, but I would love to have lots of money. I would love to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account or millions in my bank account. I would love to have the car that I want, the house that I want. I want to live the life that I want. If those are the things that you're saying to yourself, then welcome. Welcome to Noelle Randall, because that is exactly where I was. I had a decent life. I'm not going to say I was eating out of trash cans. When I say I lived in my parents' basement, I was broke, I was bankrupt, I had bad credit, I had no money. I was pregnant with my third kid. So I was in a bad situation, but I wasn't in the terrible, I wasn't homeless. I lived with my mom and my dad and my kids and my husband, and we just didn't have any money. But I started going to classes. I started going to seminars. I used the things that you would hear. We didn't have YouTube like we have here, and TikTok like we have here, where people are sharing this great information. I'm going to show you guys some great information on actually how you can get money for your business, how you can start a new business, a new LLC, and there's funding available for your business, $50,000, $100,000, like tons of money for your business. I want to stress that to you. But I started, like I said, in a bad situation. And I started going to classes. I started going to seminars. I started going to conferences. And I started learning about how to buy real estate with no money and bad credit. I started learning about how I um, could put properties and real estate in my business's name and use business credit and business funds to buy real estate and then turn those into rental properties. I now have short-term rentals. I have long-term rentals. We do fix and flips. I have small, multifamily properties, not just single family homes, but multifamily properties. I have a couple of commercial properties that I own percentages of and things like that. And so there's lots of things that you can do to take yourself from working for somebody else and relying on their money to making lots of money. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this Chase ATM scam. So if you are here watching me on TikTok, you should watch me on YouTube as well, because I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to share my screen with you guys right now. And or those of you that are watching on YouTube and LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you this article that's on USA Today. It says the Chase ATM glitch that went viral is likely check fraud. Okay, it's not likely check fraud. It is fraud. Everybody knows. Okay, so let's go through what this ATM glitch was. Over the weekend, obviously on TikTok, there was these viral people making videos showing how you can deposit a check into ATMs at Chase Bank specifically for very large amounts, and then they would make a percentage of that check available immediately. Now, those of us that are wealthy, no offense, those are wealthy, we already knew this. We already knew this. That's not any glitch or anything new. I guess some people that have no money and wasn't putting money in their account did not know that when you deposited a check into your ATM, that a portion of it was available for you. So what they were doing was they started depositing really large checks, like $80,000 checks, $50,000 checks, $30,000 checks, and then going and spending the money that they had available immediately on their ATM. Then they could go to the ATM and then withdraw the money. So then they start making these crazy videos. They start showing them throwing the money. They going all crazy. They like, oh my God, I got money, and showing other people how to do it. They show one of the Chase banks had this long line, this really, really long line. Like waiting for people to go to the ATM and try this check, and they would just write a check from their own account to themselves. Now this is how incredibly dumb this is. Okay, so they're writing a check from their own account to themselves. If they put their real ATM number in there, their real PIN, and we all know what it takes to get a checking account. They actually have your ID, their passport. Banks have an incredible amount of information. Now this is so funny. I used to be a vice president at Chase Bank. Okay, this was in like 2011, 2012, in Dallas, Texas. I was a VP called internal controls. So it was in the servicing department. So I worked in mortgage servicing at that time. And this was before the entrepreneurship, because I didn't actually like quit these corporate jobs and say, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm just going to rely on my business and my real estate to take care of me until like 2017, 2018. Although I actually was a millionaire on paper like 2016, because I had enough real estate with enough equity. So anyway, long story short, I used to work at Chase Bank as a vice president in 2011, 2012. And Chase is actually one of the best banks I ever worked for. Okay, so if I have to be honest, I've worked for Wells Fargo, I've worked for Bank of America. And again, this is Noelle Randall's opinion. Chase Bank to me was one of the best banks. They had some of the best they treated their employees very well, especially in the big banks. When I'm talking about in comparison to Bank of America or Wells Fargo. To me, my best experience, especially as an African American female in a management position and having those opportunities, Chase Bank was the best. Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. So this has been a thing where you deposit a check into a checking account and a portion of it is available to you. That is not anything that is new. And so these people go in there and they're writing these checks, and they take a portion of it out and start withdrawing from the ATM. And then they start videoing it and making TikTok videos that went viral on TikTok, telling people about this glitch with Chase's ATMs, and that you could do this. So lots of people started doing it. Like I said, long lines at Chase. And then they found out, their account went negative when the check bounces, because once they verify the check the next day or 2 days, a day or two later, it's very quick. It's actually not a long time. It was back in the, in the early 2000s, you could have like a week. We used to call it check floating and check kiting. Those were things that people did. Nowadays, the checking system is so quick. They know what's in the account. And in fact, they'll be able to, they could fix this now if they want it with the ATMs, where they could actually verify all of the money. That technology already exists. Okay. So long story short, it's fraud. Okay, it is fraud, and those people actually have committed a felony, And if the amount is over like 2,500, we all know that's like a really big felony, like, you know, how they say class A and whatever. I don't know how that all works, but it's a grand larceny type of felony because in many cases they took thousands and thousands of dollars out. They knew they did not have the money. Now their accounts are negative 8,000. So then they come back on TikTok, people showing their account negative $8,000, their account negative $10,000, like all of these crazy negative amounts in their checking account, and it was fraud. And so they're going to catch a case. Hopefully, they kept the money. This is what I will say, and again, more Noelle Randall opinion as former employee of Chase Bank. And most of these people were, you know, under the poverty level. They, you know, these are not people that are, you know, financially savvy in many cases, but they did have a checking account. So they had to have known when you get the checking account, they checked your ID, they checked your address, they checked you know, previous references. They can see a lot of it. Banks have a lot of information that you don't know. It's way beyond a credit report. They have, you know, stuff beyond LexisNexis that pulls. They know your relatives. They know your aunties. It's incredible the amount of information that they know about you. And so the banks were going to figure this out pretty quickly. Chase makes billions of dollars a year in profit. My opinion, before we move to the next thing, because this is super important, is that two things. One, hopefully they kept the money and they could just give it back. That will actually probably help them. And again, I am not a lawyer. I am not their counsel. I don't know these people, never heard of them, none of that. So long story short, if they had the money, that actually I think would help a lot, because if they could just return it, and that would maybe reduce some of the penalties that they're in, the consequences that they're going to face, because this is fraud, and it's always been check fraud. That has never not been the case. When you deposit a check into the ATM, you're verifying that the funds are there. You click like it's all in the agreement, okay? And all of that long paperwork they gave you when you opened your account, they told you that, and it's a crime. So keep the money, but you know, keep the money so they can give it back. So I want to talk about, though, those of us who already knew that that was a scam. As soon as we heard viral TikTok glitch, we all knew it was a scam. None of us would try it, okay? So none of us here watching, you guys are like me. But what it raises, the real question is, so how do you get a lot of money? Because honestly, this was an attempt to get a lot of cash. And there are things you can do that are legal and ethical to get large lump sums of cash. And I just think that most of us just don't know that. We think that it has to be some type of thing like this, where it's a fraud or it's some manipulation of a system. And I am here to strongly tell you, it is not. You actually can learn to earn a lot of money. Okay. So one of the things that I'm having, and I'll share with this again, if you're on YouTube watching this, I'm going to share with this my screen. You're going to see this Grow Your Wealth event. Okay, so this is a 3-day event that I'm having here in Orlando, September 27th through the 29th. It's 3 days of learning. But the fun thing is I actually take you on a tour of my properties, show you how we got them, how much we paid for them, because we do buy foreclosures. Sometimes we buy properties that we have to fix up. I show you all of those things. You can ask questions. You get to ask any questions that you have about, like, where do you get the furniture from? Because most of the properties are Airbnb, short-term rentals, and we make a lot of money with them, but they are real estate that we own, or manage, because I also have a property management company. And so it shows you two things. One, that you can own real estate. Somebody else can manage it for you, and you can make a lot of money because the property is going up in value. The property is cash flowing each month, and you have the appreciation of the area. Most of these properties that we're showing you you're coming to Orlando, Florida. It's right by Disney World, okay? So you can go to Disney Springs if you want to. You can go to Disney World, you can go to Universal Studios, you can go to SeaWorld. Like, you get to come to this event, the Grow Your Wealth event, which is growyourwealthevent.com. You're watching it here on the screen. You can get your tickets now. Use the code LABOR, LABOR, for Labor Day, to save 70%. Okay, that's LABOR, LABOR. Use that code when you're checking out. Get your tickets now. The bus is almost full, so I want you to get your tickets now. Right now. You go to get your tickets and you use the code right where it says enter code. So on the Grow Your Wealth, you do general admission. It'll take 70% off the ticket. So you're going to get the tickets really cheap, like $300 for general admission. And this includes your food on day one, because we have the breakfast, you have the lunch, we go on the tour. Day two, we're at the hotel, and I'm teaching you guys showing you different lenders, showing you how the applications should go, showing you some of the income generating assets that you can purchase with business credit, how you buy the properties in your business's name, how you furnish them in your business's name, how they will lend you the money money for all of this and how you can easily repay it, how you can have property managers manage your property if you want to. If you want to do just wholesaling, you have bad credit, we can show you how to do that. That's what I used to do when I was in my parents' basement. I was broke, bankrupt, bad credit. I did wholesaling. Then I went to fixing and flipping, then rental properties, now Airbnbs and rental properties and property management and funds, real estate funds and all of those things. And so now I'm very wealthy, but it all started with wholesaling. It all started with bad credit, no money. And so those were legal and ethical ways to get large lump sums of money. When I was broke, bankrupt, living in my parents' basement, in 2009, I just started going to classes. Like I said, just like this event here, just like the Grow Your Wealth event, where somebody would tell me and show me how to do wholesaling, the contracts. What do I say? How do I, not use any money? Because there's lots of different ways that you can do this. You literally can do the contract and give them the earnest money later, even just that as a simple tactic that I did not know, or get the earnest money from the investor that I was going to flip the contract to. These were things I never even knew existed. And it was just someone that had done it before, someone that had real estate like myself was teaching me that. And so that's what the Grow Your Wealth event is about. Me, somebody that has done it before, still does it today, teaching more people how to be successful entrepreneurs, telling you the game, telling you how to get business funding. Which banks, I made a video on YouTube where there's 5 banks that will give you $50,000 with a new LLC. So if you're watching YouTube or if you're watching on TikTok, watch that video. It's amazing. It still works. But we can take that to the next level. You can get business credit cards. You can get business lines of credit. You can put the real estate in your business's name and not put any of your own savings into it. You literally can get the business loan, the business line of credit, and that be the down payment. And then put the mortgage, you use a DSCR loan, just as an example, or a hard money loan to acquire the property. And then you refinance out of it again into a business loan, because you can even do a blanket loan. Once you have a certain amount of real estate, you can do a blanket loan and put all of your rental properties in one mortgage. And these are just things that I could teach you because this is stuff that I do. And it's not stuff that they teach at school. I have 2 master's degrees, one from Penn State, one from Baylor. None of them taught me about wholesaling or buying foreclosures or doing short sales or subject to or wholesaling. None of those things were taught in college in these really high level great schools. But other entrepreneurs that are doing it successfully, millionaires, can teach you how to do it. But it's going to require for you to be a little bit different. You're going to have to leave your house. So go to growyourwealthevent.com. Get your tickets. Use the code LABOR to save 70% off the tickets. Okay, I'm going to stay on here because I want y'all to buy the tickets and tell me that you bought it. And then when you buy it, if you buy it today, I actually give you a copy of my book, the ebook. I'll give you a copy of the ebook, Pick a Horse. Pick a Horse is an Amazon bestseller. I've sold so many copies of this book. It talks about just how you can pick one thing and make a lot of money with it. Okay, literally, you can make $1 million with anything that you enjoy doing. Okay, I love putting properties together, putting the furniture. I make